Besides sending the police, you might want to send an ambulance or a hearse.
Hello, Billy Ho here. Today we are going to do course preview picks show for the 2023 Charles Schwab Challenge held in Dallas Fort Worth area at the Colonial Country Club. Lots of course history this year as this tournament's been hosted at the same site for quite some time, probably more than long enough than we need for a large enough sample size there. So we're going to touch on the skills needed to play well at Colonial, talk about a few players, maybe some putting specialists and different things of that nature. So before we get started, if you haven't already subscribed, I ask you to do that for me. It helps me out a lot. I'm chasing that elusive 1,000 subscribers, and the more likes and comments and notification buttons and engaged with me you are, that helps me even more on YouTube with the algos and whatnot. So I hope you enjoy the show. Kick back. We're going to take a look at Colonial Country Club, and let's get started. And before we jump into Colonial Country Club, I do have a preview article in progress working. Just kind of a brief overview of the tournament itself, and I'll have weather as we get it, but it's Texas, so we're back in Texas, so we're going to get some wind most likely, and probably a lot of Jordan Spieth talk since he missed the last Texas tournament. Model stats, all that kind of good stuff. First look players. I got a few guys here, so I'll publish this shortly and for your consumption. And then we got a few other details. So let's take a look at the golf course. Okay. At 7,200 yards, this par 70 course cannot be overpowered. As you can see, the tree line course features narrowish fairways. They're not super generous. That pure bent grass greens that are smallish in size, 500 square feet on average. And it's actually somewhat similar to what we had this week at the PGA Championship, much shorter and much less difficult, obviously. But the similar in yardage, similar par 70, two par fives, but everything's just the whole scale of ease is much easier. We're going to get like a mid score, probably a 10 to 15 under par winning score, depending on how bad the wind is. Birdies are hard to come by with only the two par fives to take advantage of. We just passed number one, which is the first. It's a nice, easy opening handshake hole with a 43% birdie rate. Number 11 is a lot tougher. It's longer, 635 yards. That birdie rate's just about 28%. Scoreable par fours like numbers 2, 6, 17, and 18 can all get us there to a mid-teens under par winner. So that's what we're looking at there. And obviously with the tree line fairways, 27 yards wide, and the 3-inch Bermuda grass rough, you're going to want to be accurate off the tee. So clubbing down is going to help increase fairways hit. So strokes gained approach, we're looking for a lot of wedges and mid irons, buckets like 125 to 150, 175 to 200 are on the uptick. The small greens means greens in regulation gain are going to be huge. As I switch over here to one of my just little opening things, and this is the PGA Championship field. It's basically just a lot of guys that are going to be in this tournament. So I basically just ran the last 2 years of bent grass and sorted it by strokes gained putting, which you can see just under me. Do you even putt, bro? So Brendan Todd is way up there. There's a list of guys that I like to play on bent grass. So like we said, accuracy off the tee, sand saves, all that good stuff. Scrambling, all tee to green come into play, obviously, but opportunities gained and putting on these bent grass greens are going to be super important. Since last week in New York, we saw bent grass, but really, other than the Masters, off the top of my head, I can't think of any other courses recently that we've had bent grass. So it obviously starts up the top with Scotty Scheffler, who lost to Sam Burns in a playoff last year. Scotty is a Texas boy, loves his home course advantages. Probably going to be pushing to be lock status for a lot of people that play MME. He'll probably likely be the only player over 10 or over 11K. I figure he's going to be 11,200, and then there'll probably be other guys like Spieth and Morikawa and Finau and whatnot, maybe in the mid to upper 10Ks. I don't really know how DraftKings is going to do pricing this week after a major. It could be anywhere, right? So anyway, what we're looking at in Sam Burns, I'm getting into a few players here. Sam Burns is a good putter on any surface. He's just fine. He's had several close calls at Byron Nelson in Houston. He got the win here last year, and he also won in Austin this year at the match play. So he's obviously knows his way around Texas pretty damn good. But dude's been a bit boom bust this year, and missed cuts at Genesis, Arnold Palmer Invitational, Wells Fargo, and obviously last week at the PGA, 2 rounds at plus 14 ain't going to get it done. So maybe he'll take the weekend off and regroup. I feel pretty good. Maybe we'll get some value on him coming in next week. Obviously, another Longhorn, Jordan Spieth, the GOAT of Texas. He's going to be here for his yearly run. He's won here before and obviously had several top finishes. We know his history with Texas. Justin Rose is probably going to be a popular play after he's showing up pretty well. And he's obviously a good bent putter. He's on my list. I have a list of guys that I love to play on bent. He went 20 under at this tournament just a few years back. So I believe we probably had pristine weather for that year, but Rose really got. He tore it up that year. But he did miss the cut here last year. But before that, a few top finishes even in his down years. Obviously, there's more bent putters than what you see here. This is a holy grail look at the Charles Schwab for the last 5 years ball striking. So obviously Morikawa, Finau, Scheffler, Corey Connors, Gary Woodland, big disappointment this week. Rory's only played it once. He's not in the field. Griot is another guy. He's a bent grass guy that I like to play, especially at this course. And actually, the year that Rose won it, he was almost there. He was, I believe, or maybe a solo second, but he was really in the mix on Sunday. And I could have really won some big bucks that week. But then you got guys like Varner, who's kind of a bent grass guy. I'm comfortable with him because he's normally not a good putter. Cam Davis, who I played this week at PGA and did not disappoint me. He loves him some bent grass. Christian Seabez, as I like to call him, the Bezaden goat, loves him some bent grass. He's just a good all-around player anyway. And with a shorter par 70 type course, he can work his way around, being that he gives up shots off the tee, but makes up for it in every other aspect of his game. So I'm going to be looking at Seabez. Morikawa is a bent grass type guy. Touchdown Tony Finau is bent grass Tony, in my opinion. Emiliano Griot, like I said. Harris English, the Todd father, Brendan Todd, pretty good bent putter. And Chris Kirk, who hopefully is not going to be overly popular next week. I believe made the cut this week at the PGA Championship. He is a really good bent player, and he's obviously had his resurgence this year with a great run in Florida, like he usually does. But he's also pretty damn solid in Texas. So I love his slight draw off the tee, accuracy, and irons should serve him well this week. So he's a guy I'll be looking at. And then, just to top it off, There's other guys I wanted to look at. Joey B. Bramlett, like Tambolini likes to call him. Long hitter, really good, kind of a Jason Kokrak type player who's had a putter resurgence. That's who he kind of reminds me of, and Kokrak's won this tournament. So I'm looking at him. Hayden Buckley, long and straight off the tee. Eckroat and Marty Dew were the two guys that were way up the leaderboard at Byron Nelson. Maybe they have some Texas magic coming. Thomas Detry. Of course, then you got staples like Sung J.M., Victor Hovland, Max Homa, all guys that are just really elite players in general who win a lot of tournaments. So it should be a fun one. We got a pretty solid group of guys in Texas this time around. So I don't want to hear anybody saying it's a weak field event. And I'll be out soon with another show. I'm gonna try to do three a week now, stepping up the content game. So maybe another course fit type show or some kind of angle to play, just a brief 10-minute video. So until then, thank you for watching. Stay engaged, subscribe, like. See you soon.